Conway Twitty was born Harold Lloyd Jenkins on September 1st, 1933, in Friars Point in Coahoma County, in northwestern Mississippi. The Jenkins family were of Welsh descent. He was named by his great-uncle, after his favorite silent movie actor Harold Lloyd. The Jenkins family moved to Helena, Arkansas, when Jenkins was 10 years old. In Helena, Jenkins formed his first singing group, the Phillips County Ramblers. Jenkins had his own local radio show every Saturday morning. He also played baseball as second passion. He received an offer to play with the Philadelphia Phillies after high school, but he was drafted into the United States Army. He served in the Far East and organized a group called the Cimarrons to entertain his fellow soldiers. Wayne House, a neighbor, suggested that Jenkins could make it in the music industry. Soon after hearing Elvis Presley's song Mystery Train, Jenkins began writing rock and roll material. He then went to Sun Studios in Memphis, Tennessee, and worked with Sam Phillips, the owner and founder, to get the right sound. None of Jenkins' Sun recordings were released at the time, but Roy Orbison did record his composition Rock House, which was issued on Sun 251. The flip side was You're My Baby in 1956. Allegedly, in 1957, Jenkins decided that his real name was not memorable enough and sought a better show business name. In the Billboard Book of Number 1 Hits, Fred Bronson states that the singer was looking at a road map when he spotted Conway, Arkansas, and Twitty, Texas, and chose the name Conway Twitty. Also in 1957, under his new name, he recorded briefly for Mercury Records, releasing 2 unsuccessful singles. In 1958, using his new stage name, Twitty's fortune improved while he was with MGM Records, and an Ohio radio station had an inspiration, refraining from playing I'll Try, an MGM single that went nowhere in terms of sales, radio play, and jukebox play, instead playing the B-side, It's Only Make Believe, a song written between sets by Twitty and drummer Jack Nance when they were in Hamilton, Ontario, playing at the Flamingo Lounge. The record took nearly 1 year to reach and stay at the top spot on the Billboard pop music charts in the United States and number 1 in 21 other countries, becoming the first of 9 top 40 hits for Twitty. It sold over 4 million copies and was awarded a gold disc by the RIAA. That same year, country singer Tabby West of ABC TV's Ozark Jubilee heard Twitty and booked him to appear on the show. When It's Only Make Believe was first released, because of vocal similarities, many listeners assumed that the song was actually recorded by Elvis Presley, using Conway Twitty as a pseudonym. Twitty would go on to enjoy rock and roll success with songs including Danny Boy, which reached pop number 10, and Lonely Blue Boy, pop number 6. Lonely Blue Boy, originally titled Danny, was recorded by Presley for the film King Creole, but was not used in the soundtrack. This song led him to naming his band the Lonely Blue Boys. They subsequently became the Twitty Birds. Twitty always wanted to record country music. Beginning in 1965, he did just that. Disc jockeys on some country music radio stations refused to play his first few country albums because he was known as a rock and roll singer. However, he had his first top 5 country hit, The Image of Me, in July of 1968, followed by his first #1 country song, Next in Line, in November of 1968. Few of his singles beginning in 1968 ranked below the top 5. In 1970, Twitty recorded and released his biggest country hit, Hello Darlin', which spent 4 weeks at the top of the country chart and is one of Twitty's most recognized songs. In 1971, he released his first hit duet with Loretta Lynn, After the Fire Is Gone. It was a success, and many more followed, including Lead Me On, 1971, Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man, 1973, As Soon as I Hang Up the Phone, 1974, Feelin's, 1975, I Still Believe in Waltzes, I Can't Love You Enough, and many others. Together, Conway and Loretta, as they were known in their act, won 4 consecutive Country Music Association awards for vocal duo from 1972 through 1975, and a host of other duo and duet awards from other organizations throughout the 1970s. In 1973, Twitty released You've Never Been This Far Before, which was #1 on the country charts for 3 weeks that September, and also reached number 22 on the pop charts. Some more conservative disc jockeys refused to play the song, believing that some of the lyrics were too sexually suggestive. In 1978, Twitty issued the single The Grandest Lady of Them All, honoring the Grand Ole Opry. Somewhat ironically, Twitty was never inducted into the Opry during his lifetime. He remains one of the most prominent Nashville country artists to have never been an Opry member. The single reached top 20, peaking at number 16, but it was well below expectations. It was the first time since 1967 that a single of his failed to reach the top 10, as some radio stations refused to play a song honoring the property of a competitor, because the show was broadcast by WSM AM radio. Twitty soon renewed his image with a new hairstyle, changing from the slicked-back pompadour style to the curlier style he would keep for the rest of his life. By the late 1970s, Twitty had shifted his musical arrangements into a country pop style he would maintain for the rest of his career. His next 23 consecutive singles all made it into the top 10, with 13 peaking at #1, including Don't Take It Away, I May Never Get to Heaven, Happy Birthday, Darling, and remakes of major pop hits such as The Rose and Slow Hand and Tight Fittin' Jeans, a song written by Michael Huffman, released in June of 1981 as the first single from the album Mr. T. The song was Twitty's 26th #1 on the country charts. The single stayed at #1 for 1 week and spent a total of 10 weeks on the country charts. In 1985, going by all weekly music trade charts, the song Don't Call Him a Cowboy became the 50th single of his career to achieve a #1 ranking. He would have 5 more through 1990, giving him a total of 55 #1 hits. George Strait matched the feat of 50 #1 hits in 2002 with his single She'll Leave You With a Smile, and then reached #1 for the 56th time in 2007 when the single Wrapped hit the top of the media-based 24/7 list. Throughout much of Twitty's country music career, his recording home was Decca Records, later renamed MCA. He signed with the label in late 1965 but left in 1981. When it appeared MCA was marketing and promoting newer acts, management at the label had changed, in addition to other factors that brought on the decision. He joined Elektra Asylum in 1982. That label's country music unit merged with sister label Warner Brothers Records in 1983. He stayed with Warner Brothers through early 1987, but then went back to MCA to finish his career. In 1993, shortly before he died, he recorded a new album called Final Touches. Twitty was married 4 times to 3 different women. His first marriage to Ellen Matthews lasted from 1953 to 1954. They had married because Ellen was pregnant with his son Michael. His second and longest marriage was to Temple Mickey Medley. They were married in 1956 and had 3 children, Kathy, Joni Lee, and Jimmy Twitty. The couple were divorced in early 1970, but they remarried quietly by the end of 1970. By 1984, after 28 years of marriage on and off, the stress of Twitty's frequent absences took its toll on Mickey, and she and Conway divorced for good. In 1987, Twitty married his 36-year-old office secretary, Dolores D. Henry. They were married until Twitty's death. Twitty made Oklahoma City his home during most of his recording career, from 1963 to 1972. He also lived in Norman, Oklahoma. In 1981, Twitty was exiting his tour bus when he slipped on the steps and fell, hitting his head against the steps. John Hooley, who was Twitty's steel guitar player, found him on the ground. Many people, including family members, said that Twitty underwent a change in personality after the accident. According to his daughter, Joni, Twitty was not in a right state of mind for several months. On June 4, 1993, Twitty became ill while performing at the Jim Stafford Theater in Branson, Missouri. He collapsed on his tour bus after the show and was rushed to a hospital. He was rushed into surgery but died of an abdominal aortic aneurysm in the early hours of the following morning at Cox South Hospital in Springfield, Missouri, at the age of 59. Loretta Lynn, who frequently was his chart-making duet partner, was at the hospital because her husband Oliver was recovering from heart surgery, saw Twitty briefly as he entered the hospital. His last studio album, Final Touches, was released 2 months later. 4 months after Twitty's death, George Jones included a cover version of Hello Darlin' on his album High Tech Redneck. Twitty was buried at Sumner Memorial Gardens in Gallatin, Tennessee, in a red granite vault, under his birth name, Harold L. Jenkins. Okay, that's the end of our video. I sure hope you enjoyed it. If you like this type of video and want us to keep producing them, please like and subscribe. And as always, thank you very much for watching.